Hello, Bottom fans. I'm Ross Little, otherwise known as the Hammersmith Hardmen, and I'm joined by my podcast host, the brilliant Katie Lingo. And I'm absolutely delighted to say that we are also joined once again by the amazing Helen Lederer. Helen, great to see you, and thank you for joining us. How are you?
Well, I'm delighted to meet the two of you together in different rooms. Are you in different counties?
Today we are. I'm in
Yes.
Okay,
Brighton today.
okay, good. Oh no, let's because it's an exciting day, isn't it, for all of us, but especially me.
It is an
Yes.
exciting day for you, Helen. The last time we chatted was a year ago, when you released your book, Not That I'm
Yeah.
Bitter. How has it been promoting that for the last 12 months?
Well, do you know what? One, it was brilliant having that chat with you, and you weave some magic on the old internet platform world. I feel a year older. Finally, and I was thinking about this. When I began and was talked to Katie about being a stand-up, when I began, I was in my 30s as a stand-up, was sort of late 20s. But promoting this book in my last chapter of my years, The Embers, do you know what? I found my feet. And the reason I found my feet is because I was such a people pleaser and the climate and me not being ballsy enough. Apart from any other reasons, of course. But now I can go into a room. It's like a training program. Everyone should write a memoir and then go around the country with it. And even if you're in a room of 20 people, as happened in Chiswick Book Festival with Janet Ellis, lovely interview, um, you just make that room sing and be even more outrageous or more honest or more authentic, whatever. So without sounding cocky, because we women do worry about that erroneously. I'm kind of I've found it. Just write a memoir that does alarm people, hopefully makes them laugh, and talk about Rik Mayall in it, of course, very importantly. Um, and then just talk about everything. And then when people talk to me afterwards and the questions I get, they're really deep questions. So I feel like yeah. Have I bored you both? Please.
No, not at all. I think
Absolutely
it's
not.
good to hear how what your some of your just sort of brief experiences of promoting the book, and how you said you get some sort of deep questions after some of the book signings and book festivals. What's the general reaction been to the book over the last few months?
Well, I think when people actually read it, because it is a mix, I mean, the people of my vibration, like we can't all have the similar vibration to others. It wouldn't work otherwise. But like Robin Ince, other comedians have completely got it, have completely got, because I've been so truthful about the experience. It's the kind of other more grown-up people that I feel a bit scared of, like not my accountant, but maybe but grown-up people. Um, they are quite they kind of go, wow, like wow. And you don't quite know there's a because it's so I talk about I hope in an absurdist way or but also a real way about relationships and tangles I've got into, but always against myself, not against anyone else. So I think it could be quite shocking. But if you're going to write a memoir, then you can't leave things out because that wouldn't be authentic. Then you go, oh, you've cherry picked. So I think
Definitely.
people have kind of feel like they've been pushed into a world that they didn't know they were going to go into. Uh, Sort of looking back, should I have put it all in? Well, when I presented it to the publishers, they said, leave it all in very sternly. So it is all in there.
Good. I mean, that's if that the publishers are happy with that, then I think you go with it, don't you? You have to all in.
Yes. I never trust authority figures, as you know. There's a whole chapter about that in the book. Because of course, once I've just done a press junket about the Pilgrimage, this TV series I'm on, and journalists have to do their job and they have to get their story, and then I get all engaged, and because we are honest people and interested in trying to get to the truth, then you can look around and think, oh, that could be understandably taken into a headline. And then I said to this guy on one of the tabloids, I said, why don't you just title the article 38 double D? I was being ironic. And then he said, oh, I don't, I think I'd be cancelled if I did. I thought I was making a joke. This is why sometimes you can't kind of go. to the same terrain, to the same terrain,
Yes.
isn't a journey. Anyway, waffling, but it has been honestly the best thing I've done, whether it's 20 people or did I ever get 200? I don't know if I'm lying now, but big or small, it's been worth it.
Yeah, and I've seen you've been really, or just sort of following you on Instagram and seeing all the things you've been doing. You've been so busy and active promoting over the last 12 months, like say festival signings and just meeting so many people. And so we've got to the stage, you mentioned the pilgrimage. So
Yeah.
the new version of the book comes out today, 10th of published today, 10th of
I'm
April.
doing this and I just have to because, and then everyone becomes quite weak. And you regard them with less respect, don't you, when you see authors, hopeful people waving their book, but everyone does it.
Why
So,
not?
yeah, the last two chapters are new
Yes.
and and which makes it new. And
Mm.
I feel I'm in I just love writing it behind the scenes with another group of people on a mountaintop, of whom are well known. It was a kind of benign version of Big Brother that I did 10 years ago where I felt very lonely and it was interesting. And then my very good friend who you would know, and Katie being comedians and lovers of comedy, Tony Slattery, died suddenly it's literally just a few weeks ago. And I wrote about the funeral, hopefully in a way that was funny, and that Tony would have been very pleased because I got hammered in the pub. Two bottles of white wine on an empty stomach, really good to do.
Yeah.
Good to do at a funeral.
Yeah.
And I think that again, that would be significant for readers who followed the comedy era
Mm.
that I was sort of part of.
Definitely. I think the people will be really interested to hear about it. So, well, he did die quite suddenly, and I think you were a good friend, and I think people will be really interested to kind of read your
Yeah,
thoughts on
bad
that.
behavior at a funeral is good to write about in a
Yeah.
way that kind of calms us all down, connects us, I think. And
Mm.
that was the hope about some of the more revelatory things in a way. I think other people thought they were more revelatory. My life, and it'd be interesting to talk to Katie as a comedian, I mean, our lives, we are kind of quite close to uh, living slightly outside the circle, and so that is our norm. So I just wrote down what my norm was, is.
Then that works really well, and I think that's a good sort of segue into Katie. I apologize, I didn't actually introduce you both at the start of the call, so apologies for
Don't
that.
worry.
That's fine.
So obviously, Katie, you know Helen. Helen, Katie is kind of the new sort of co-host of the podcast. We do a lot of work together on the podcast and just anything bottom related.
Uh,
Katie is also a stand-up comedian, uh,
yes.
and a very good one at that.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
That's exciting. Katie, how long have you been doing this job?
Uh, just over a year. I guess you could call it a side hustle because I have a day job.
Yeah.
I do like presenting and writing and things as well.
Yeah.
The business on the side, but it's
Do
something
you
that's
love it?
I absolutely love it, and it's so nice to hear from you. How you say being completely candid, completely honest, because I suppose you're used to that having been on stage, and you can be completely vulnerable. People talk about comedy as if it's a sort of therapy, and
Mm.
I'm sure you do too. When I go on stage, I just tell people the most horrific details,
Yes.
true details of be it sex or toilet jokes or whatever.
Yes.
And it's
And
quite
do you script it, Katie, before you do it? Do you prepare or do you go into your head?
Um, to a point, I always say don't overscript. I always think of the Billy Joel song, "We Didn't Start the Fire." He says he hates performing that because if he gets one word wrong, then he screws
Ah,
everything
yes.
up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the repetition. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
interested when you, particularly with people like Lee Mack and the sort of seasoned guys, largely, although many, many more women doing that. I've noticed on the television program, the Apollo one, and
Yes,
very impressed I am. I because every audience is different, don't you find?
yes,
So that
absolutely.
that is difficult to repeat when you go, but you
Yeah.
have to repeat. So I don't know how these people do. Like Ben Elton, was an hour and an interval and an hour, or well, there's old Ken Dodd. I saw a program of him I can't believe I'm talking about Ken Dodd, but he could go on for 7 hours. So, but how do you go with your repetition of your material?
I do kind of mix it up every time. I saw Ken Dodd once, and he said he was going to be on for 7 hours. I left after two. I think.
Well, you did well. And then people have to bring sandwiches. Apparently, that's the
Oh
tag,
my
isn't
gosh, yeah, it was
it?
serious. But I do, because a lot of comedians that I work with sort of say, "Oh, well, my set," as if it's just one thing. But I always like to start with something topical, so
Yeah,
anything political or anything going on at the moment, or just take
good.
the piss out of the latest Netflix series or whatever. To kind of build a bit of a rapport with the
So
audience.
important. I agree
Yeah,
with you because you're
yeah,
you're in the room. And do
yeah,
you also find this thing with nerves? Because I write about that. I remember
yes,
how I was at the beginning and
yeah.
all my rituals and stuff. But
Mm.
it's like children can sniff a scared teacher.
Yeah, yeah, because it's
And
self
um
care.
and
Yeah,
it's a similar thing, isn't it?
definitely. I think it
So
comes
that's
from,
why I delight as an older person. I go,
yeah.
"Ooh," and I don't want that to be arrogant, but
No.
it's like I've done it so so long in a certain way. It's just nice. So with you, how do you manage understandable and necessary
I mean, people have said to me before that nerves are kind of like anxious, like excited energy, just kind of
nerves?
split into. And I'm very physical, obviously inspired by people like yourself and Rik, and so I do like to kind of move around the stage anyway. And
Sounds good.
yeah, but I kind of like gesticulate, I guess, because it's a performance, isn't it? Some people just
Yeah.
like stand still behind a microphone. I like to, if my heart rate's not peaking, I'm not having
And
fun.
are people mean? Because in my day, it was normal to be mean.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Do you think they were meaner to you because you were a woman?
I think a combination of,
Yeah,
I'm thinking again about the word cocky. It's
yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's an odd one because it takes some audacity in quotes to do it. And then in
yeah,
those days, and even now in a social group,
yeah.
Larry women
Yes,
um, are are maybe less normalized than
yes,
Larry men. So,
completely. But if and sorry, Ross, but if you're a man and you are loud and leery, you're assertive, and you should be proud of that. Whereas if you're a woman, it's kind of like, okay, quiet down
and we're
now.
not used to it, are we? Do you
No,
think that's part of the reason we're not socialized
completely.
into?
Yeah, so growing up with people like yourself and like Jennifer Saunders and people like that who challenged all that, or Kathy Burke, or or
Yeah.
but yes, thank God. They were real, even when I was, I guess, I don't know, 5 years old, being inspired by that, to go out.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I'm sure you get, and when people sort of say the question, and you have to analyze, not analyze it, and why aren't women funny? I'm always asked them, what I'm sure you
Yes.
are, Katie. And you go, well, I haven't done a PhD on it, and interestingly, because I launched Comedy Women in Print, the prize for witty women writers who haven't been published, and I have to write a piece today for the I newspaper
Mhm.
about AI, and apparently there's a book that analyzes humor that I'm going to have to research. And as soon as you go down that road, you're going, ah, brain is hurting, and yet people are passionate like yourself and Ross. It makes us so passionate. Maybe you just have to go. There are many ways to do it.
Yeah.
It's a risk for me to think that I can always get it right
Mhm.
because I'm the kind of person who can see if everyone likes me, there's one person who doesn't. I'll know that person. I'll pick that person out. So you can be derailed. We can always be derailed. So the moral
Yeah.
of the tale is you can still do a bad gig.
Oh
Even
gosh.
Rik Mayall. Do you think even Rik Mayall? But they would have got over it. Rick and
Oh,
Aid would have just, you can imagine, they'd have just
gosh.
gone, because they had each other,
Yes.
they'd
Yeah.
have had a lager top.
Yeah. I'm sure there would have been a lot of stuffy people who would have just thought, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean, getting used to a new style or
Yeah.
a perceived arrogance or changing the vibration of what
Yeah.
comedy is each time new
Yeah.
generation does it. People are annoyed. I think people don't like other people to have too much fun. I think
Oh,
that's in the human
absolutely.
condition.
Yeah, there is a lot of kind of bitch in it, considering it's all supposed to be about having a laugh. There's a lot of bitchiness and
Oh,
this.
oh,
You know,
my word, yes.
it's the two extremes, isn't it? You find
It
that.
is. And now, of course, I think it was beginning in the 80s. because talent scouts has sort of had cottoned on that you go to the venues that's where you might pick someone for a TV show. But it was only just beginning. Of course, now it's a marketplace. And you can't. It's as it should be. You can't. Evolution is great, but
Mm.
I would imagine the level of competition slash camaraderie has increased. So in
Yeah.
my day, there were just a few women who got the jobs. I
Yeah.
didn't consider myself one of them, but I'm pleased for the ones I was there.
Yes.
I think now you could have a lot of women doing similar stuff at the same time, and it wouldn't be odd. I think
Yeah.
it was odd at the time.
It must have toughened you up though.
Yeah, I think honestly, only now could I probably say, well, the worst has probably happened, which is quite a good motto, but you're young, so not to depress you, but maybe
Oh,
but you just think uh, you just got a bit of experience that you do your best and you can't win them all.
oh,
You,
definitely. I've had some terrible gigs, trust
yeah,
me.
good. But then
Yeah.
maybe there should be an event. We're doing the Rik Mayall Festival, aren't we,
Mhm.
together?
Yes. Yes.
And maybe we should do a kind of worst gigs because people do, as long as, people do love, it's that Ponzi word, Schadenfreude, isn't it? People do
Yeah.
love when other people suffer.
Yes,
So
they
I'm
have.
quite happy to reveal my suffering if you are.
Oh, definitely 100%. Yes. I'd love
Let's do a mutual suffering, loving. Yeah.
that.
What's happening at the Rik Mayall Festival? Because it's soon,
It
isn't it?
is. So you're performing, aren't you, Helen, at the Norbury Theatre?
Yes.
And I had a little look at your bio for that, and it says
Yes, tell
your
me.
set is being described as an alarmingly honest conversation about the ups, downs, and downright awkward moments of your career in comedy. Um, you mentioned you don't know who's interviewing you. We don't know who's interviewing you either, actually.
Ooh.
So, I mean, that's a surprise. Yeah, there's not much more we can say about your particular anything you've got in mind to share. You just mentioned you might share some of the.
I'm going to go low now with my increased joy of meeting people and doing it. I mean, I've done, as you said, festivals. I did one on a bale of hay, a prima donna festival it was. And well, I wasn't on the bale of hay. The audience were on a bale of hay. To be fair, I was on stage. It was outside. And I was interviewed by a very nice person who used to be head of BBC Comedy. And I did sort of point out in a polite sort of way that, she hadn't actually given me a job, which we all laughed off very gaily. I did make the point. It is quite good. It's quite good when you're in proximity of people. Why not go there? But and obviously, there are 101 reasons why one doesn't get a radio series. And of course, I'm over it now, not. So we'll be talking about that kind of thing. But it was a great opportunity a few years on to see how it is from other people's points of view. I mean, a radio commissioner has got to get it right or keep their job. So interesting, isn't it?
Very much so, very much so. So these some of the things we might be hearing about on your conversation with whoever you're having a
I
conversation
hope.
with.
Yeah, I've got to make it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. And what will we be doing with the Rik Mayall sort of focus? We'll be obviously talking about should I bring the costume I wore in Bottom, which
I
I
mean,
can't get into.
given that it is a Rik Mayall kind of festival, there'll be a lot of Bottom fans there, I would assume. So
Yeah.
I know you've got it still because we shared it before.
Yes,
Would be
I'll bring
very
it.
interested to see it. It was hung up behind you. Yeah, I think
Katie,
a Rik
easily
focus
fit
would be
into it.
good. I mean, Katie and I are hosting the Big Rik pub quiz at the Old Cock in the Wednesday of the festival. So the festival
That's
is
quite a rude name of a pub. I
Which is
think
quite
you
fitting
sort of
for
said
the.
that I've got to comment, but moving on now. I
it's quite
can't.
fitting, isn't it? I think it's quite fitting. If you're gonna do a Rik Mayall
It's
pub quiz, you might
another
as well have a
pun.
pub named like
You
that.
realize what you just said, Ross?
What's
It's
that?
quite fitting. I'm now, yeah, anyway, moving on again. So is that in the evening, the
So that's
pub?
the evening of the Wednesday, the 4th of June. So the festival runs from the 31st of May to the 7th of June. You're performing on the 1st, I believe.
Yeah, and I will
Second, Monday the
be,
2nd of June, you're performing at the Norbury Theatre. Tickets are
I'll have
available, and I'll share the
opened.
link to that.
Okay, but Ross, I will have opened in Fawlty Towers in the West End. So I'm doing it on the Monday because I think I'll have just opened.
Yes. Wow.
Um,
Oh, right. Didn't realize you were doing that. So you're opening for fantastic.
Yeah, I have to wear a wig, which is quite worrying. And I have to meet John Cleese at the shoot. So talk about like older generations, middle generations, oh my lord. So that will be a classic comedy part in a farce
Oh,
with
Wow.
a
just
wig
opening the
on.
hall.
So that will be interesting, won't it? Perhaps we'll have to lure you up to London to see it.
Mm.
Happy to. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is that for are you doing that for like a run of shows?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
on at the West End for 3 months.
Brilliant. Which theatre is that?
I think it's on the Strand. It's one of those grown-up theatres, like proper, not even down the side street
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or underneath a bar. It's like a theatre.
Well, we'll find a link to that as well. So what we'll do is
Yeah.
we'll find a link to all the bits and pieces. So yes, so you're doing your set on your conversation on the Monday the 2nd. Katie and I are hosting the Big Rig pub quiz on Wednesday the 4th. And Katie's doing not one but two stand-up sets at
Oh
the
wow.
Comedy Fest. One at the Old Cock Inn just before the pub quiz on the
Yeah.
4th, and also at the Cricket Club Pavilion on the 5th of June. And we'll make sure we share all the links to how to get tickets to yours and how to get tickets to Katie's with this. And also, just to reiterate, your book is out today, published
Oh,
today.
please. Are we going to do this today? Because my dream is like I'm number 3 on some category and I'm number 55 on another category, which to me feels alarmingly low and
We
sad.
will. I will get a clip of this out, our conversation. I won't get the whole conversation out. I'll get a clip about the book conversation and a link to your. So you want the Amazon link shared mainly, yeah?
Yeah.
The one. That's the one. It's available from all good bookshops, obviously, but Amazon is the one, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it would be so nice to, because I've never been a number 1. I've never won anything. I've never been top. And it's okay not to be, but I'm just going to try.
Yes. Well, we'll get this out there shortly, later this afternoon. So yeah, anyone who's listening to this, watching this, the new version of Helen's book with 2 new chapters, Not That I'm Bitter, is out right now. And go to the link in my bio and Helen's bio to get it. And yeah, buy it, download it, whatever it is, and get Helen to number 1. That'd be great.
That'd be really nice. Thank you.
Okay. I think that's everything we wanted to talk about our end. Katie, anything else you wanted to add?
I'll
Um,
have to check you out, Katie. I mean, on the Monday, I think we're on different days.
yeah,
It's
that's okay.
nearby the venue.
I live in York actually, but
Oh, so you'll be
yeah,
coming. I don't know where it is even.
it's
Droitwich
Droitwich,
Spa,
sort of near
Okay.
Birmingham.
Midlands.
Well, I'll look out for you anyway. I'd love to see your work. I'm sure it's brilliant.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Um, and
I have no idea what that means.
just do it. I mean, a year in, the
Yeah,
world's your oyster, mate.
yeah. I'm at the Comedy Store in London next week, so that's going to be fun.
Fantastic. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah. I'm sure
Do
you've
you
been
know
a.
who's comparing?
Well, it's a sort of work event,
Yeah,
so it's the guy in charge of the company, but I know there's
sure.
a mix of pros and
Yeah, lovely. Oh, that would be really nice.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, send my love to it.
Oh,
I
thank
think they've got a new kettle in the Comedy Store dressing room, is all I can say. I had to do a bit of a memory lane filming thing there about 3 weeks ago, which is
you.
the only reason I
Amazing.
know about the kettle. But yes. Well, fingers and toes crossed, you won't need them. You're in it. You're in it. So do it. You just got to do it.
Thank you
Like
so
Rik
much.
Mayall, just do it. Be it.
Do it.
Be it, do it, and then just stay there until people give in and laugh. Force
Yes,
them. That's
yes.
what Rik
Ah,
did.
I love
So
that. Yes.
yeah. So just hold your ground.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone.
No, thank you, Helen. And also thank you, Katie. And also thank you to the listeners. I hope you enjoyed this kind of short, sharp, latest edition of the Hammersmith Hardmen podcast. And we will see you all again soon. Cheers. Bye.